Hello everybody and welcome to the non-blocking networking tutorial 3.5. This is just going to be something I meant to cover in tutorial 3, but did not realize that I forgot to include until after I had already edited the video and was rendering it. So the issue that we have is our client does not actually check if her sockets lose connection to the server. So for example, let's say that we run the server and then we run the client. What happens is, let's say the server closes, the client still thinks that all the connections are valid. For example, if I put a breakpoint, wrong loop, if I put a breakpoint here, we can see the active connections vector has a size of 10. It thinks that these are all still connected. So what we have to do is we have to check if the connection is lost. Just because the connection is lost doesn't necessarily mean that the socket's going to be in the accept FD set. It will only be in there if an exceptional condition occurs. So how are we going to check if the connection is lost? Well, let's take a look at how we had done it on the server side. On the server, what we did was whenever we were receiving data, we checked if we got back socket error, or what's more likely is if we get back 0 bytes. If we get back 0 bytes, then it's because we lost a connection. So what we will do is we will just copy the same thing, and you may be thinking, oh, well, the server is never sending data, so how is that going to be triggered? Well, when the connection is lost, it will be in, or that socket will be in the read FD set. So we will call receive even though data never really gets sent other than the connection being dropped. I'm just going to copy what we had. And instead of connections, it's going to be active connections. It's going to replace these. And I'll change it. Instead of lost connection to, we will do server socket lost connection to server. I'll just copy that line, put it right down there too. And instead of, since the data that we are sending is stored in our buffer array, I'm going to make another array called receive buffer. And what this is going to be is just where we receive the data, just so we're not overwriting in case, data won't be sent, but assuming that it was, I don't want to overwrite the buffer that we are using to send out data. So that's why I made a new buffer for that. And when we print it out, if somehow we receive data, we will print out receive buffer. Whoopsie. And now what will happen, let's test this out. We will run the server, and I'm going to put a breakpoint at WSA or WinSock API cleanup for the client. So we run this, and the server's getting all these messages. Let's close the server, and you see we get to WSA cleanup. So we got out of our while loops. Since our while loop will only stay iterating as long as we have at least one connection in our active connections vector. So we know that the disconnections were properly recognized. We can look at our console output, see we got all 10 connections, lost connection to the server. So that's working just how we want, and that is all that we are going to cover for this tutorial. And once again, in tutorial 4, we are going to cover partial sends, partial receives, and depending on how long that takes, we might get into structuring this a little bit better, because right now it's kind of just a big block of code. It's kind of a mess. So that is all that we are going to cover, and as always, thanks for watching.